What is up, everybody? I'm Courtney.
And I'm Sean.
He's not late. That's what he is tonight, you guys. He is not late.
I'm never late. You late.
Proud of him. Everybody give a big round of applause for Sean being on time.
I'm tired of you. I'm late.
But, guys, we're late on the podcast. That's what we are. Yes, and what we are is we are live, baby. Shout out to Best Dressed Hobo. Guys, we are getting ready to do a Meet Our Tour Guides here segment on Hill City Tours, and you will be introduced to the Best Dressed Hobo. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned for that. We've got a lot of cool things in the works. And, of course, I'm going to put our plug in now. Middle and end. Next Friday, we launch Hill City Tours. We will feature one haunted walking tour and a haunted pub crawl next Friday. Get your tickets now. They are already selling. You can get them www.hillcityafterdark.com. You can also go ahead and scan that QR code right up in the corner, and it will pull you straight to our website. So get
the one right. Why can't I reach it?
Because you got to turn the finger around. The finger is not.
Yeah, no matter. Yeah, it looks like you can just touch it, but you can't.
Right there, guys. Right there.
It's like you can't get to it.
Okay. We have no sense with retractable fingers. All right.
We live, baby.
Oh my God, he said it's mirrored. So on our screen, the QR code is here, and our logo is here. So you want to touch the QR code
right there.
Why are we mirrored? That's stupid.
So am I actually on that side?
Wait a minute. I want to fix this, guys. Because why am I mirrored? Mirror. Bam. So that is so weird looking now. So is that the correct side now? Is it now? Wait. Is it now?
You know what? I'm about to go look at this on my phone. No, we can't have this.
Guys, what is this?
We can't have this.
This is so weird. He said it's still the same. Well, I'm going back then.
Yeah, no, because now you're on my side. Get off my side.
All right, guys. Look, I'm going to wait for a few more viewers here, but we have a very, very, very special show for you guys tonight. As you can see in the caption below, Working Girls and Whistling Winds. We are going inside Lynchburg's most infamous alley, and we will be bringing on the show a very, very special guest. She is the executive director.
We all love a working girl.
The Lynchburg Historical Foundation. She is also the brains, for all of you guys that have been on it, the brains behind the famous candlelight tours that were previously held at OCC, and now this year will be taken over to a new location. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned for that. Ryan Jones with the freaking awesome paranormal show.
What's
howdy,
up,
howdy.
My man Ryan Jones in the house.
But without further ado, guys, I am going to introduce you to the lovely Miss Ashleigh Meyer. Hey.
What's up, Ashleigh?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing okay.
All right.
Ready for a winding down this evening.
Oh, yes, yes. It is a late night, guys, and we are one day late, but guess what? We are not $1 short.
I'm always $1 short. You brought $1.
I'm not. You want $1?
Let me hold something.
I got you. I'm going to write you an IOU. That's what my grandparents used to give me on a piece of paper, IOUs. And I never got paid for that, guys. I just want to say that out loud publicly. Rest in peace to both my grandparents, but I never got paid for my IOUs. I feel gypped right now. But enough about me. Enough about you not having $1.
I need $1.
Ashleigh, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, your title, all the good stuff.
Man, well, as of right now, I'm the executive director of the Lynchburg Historical Foundation. Not been doing that for very long. I just took this job in December. LHF kind of went through a little period of quiet, and now I've been tasked with fixing it, which I do think we're off to a pretty good start. We're getting there. We've made some serious progress in the last couple of months, and we got some pretty cool things coming down the next 6 months to kind of finish out 2026 strong. So I'm excited about that. But my background, I guess professionally, I'm a historian. I'm a public historian. I have been for a very long time. I was a public historian when I was a child, honestly. So people tease me still about the way that I would speak and communicate things, and as a very little kid, spewing facts about things that I guess people didn't really want to hear. So, but I found the job that would pay me to do that, so that's great.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's me professionally, but I'm also a writer. I've been a writer my whole life, and that's where I think my real passion is. And if I can scoot history into the writing, so much the better. So, I actually wrote a show about 18th century hookers in Lynchburg, and that's kind of how we ended up here tonight. It was called Scandalous, and thanks, John. And you know, that sort of became my.
Wait, is that the John I know from the bank?
That's my brother. He's same guy.
John!
Oh, what's up, John?
Our bank buddy. He will forever be known as the bank buddy.
Yeah, well,
and yes, you have.
I know him as a pain in the ass, but I guess you can call him whatever you want.
I will forever like that guy.
I'm trying to tell you. Look, we need you right now.
Yeah, John will forever be the homie, for real.
Yeah. Michelle, all the way from Pacific Northwest, Oregon.
What's up, Michelle? Always a pleasure to see you, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So you say you're a writer. You've actually published some books.
I have, yeah.
How many and what are their titles? Can we find them somewhere? Purchase
You
them?
absolutely can. I want to preface this by saying that I started writing when I was very young, and I have a book series on Amazon. It's called Keeping Shiloh. I'm actually about to drop the third book probably in the next couple of months, and then there's one more coming down the pipeline. There's a fourth book that'll hopefully come out by spring of next year. And then I'll be done with this series and I can finally move on with my life. It's been consuming my free time since I was 16. So I'm ready to go on to something else. But yes, I published a book, Keeping Shiloh. I do love it. And then I've just mentioned I wrote a screenplay, a stage play, which was weirdly successful, called Scandalous, about 19th century hookers here in the Hill City. So, and
everybody loves a good hooker.
Everybody loves a hooker. Everybody loves a scandal. The show ended up being asked to come back for 2 encores. We turned it into a huge gala event. So it was really, really cool. And I'm super proud of it. I love my
Thank
hooker.
you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. He said 2 hot chicks and the other guy.
We'll take it.
Hey, I'm with you.
I forgot to send the cryptid photo. All right, Michelle. Yeah, send a cryptid photo.
Yeah,
so, really quick, I don't want to harp on it too much because I definitely want to ask questions, but I want to backtrack a little bit. What is Keeping Shiloh about?
Oh goodness, Keeping Shiloh is I would call it like an urban fantasy. I didn't expect to be talking about this book tonight, Courtney.
Summarize it. It's about war, love. What?
It's about a mother-daughter relationship that is in the midst of a supernatural sort of apocalypse, and it's very dystopian. And yeah, I would call it urban fantasy or speculative fiction. Yeah, I really love it. And it's been a very big undertaking but I'm super proud of it. So yeah, I mean, absolutely go read it for me. That would be really great. Maybe it'll motivate me to put the third one out and write the fourth one, which is the
So
end.
guys, you can check it out. She said it's on Amazon. So look up Keeping Shiloh, author Ashleigh Meyer. And I want to put emphasis on the fact that it's Ashleigh, which is the only way to spell Ashleigh. That's the same way I spelled my daughter's name. So
I definitely have her name spelled wrong in my contacts.
Get out. Get out.
I need to go update my contacts.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, don't let me see that, Sean.
Guy.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm about to change it right now.
But back to the topic at hand.
As I peel this sticker off
guys,
my can.
Working girls. Scandalous. You wrote it. You directed it. You literally made it a huge success. What's up, Butterfly, all the way from West Virginia? We're talking about haunted hookers. So you might want to stay around for this. Everybody loves a good hooker.
Butterfly, we getting on that game tonight, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, you wrote this. You directed it. This is literally your creativity. Daryl, just in time for the hookers.
Daryl, phone at Paulette.
That's right. Shout out to the spirits of Clover Hill Village and the spirits of Appomattox, Daryl Paulette and his lovely wife, Becky.
Thanks for sharing us out, Daryl.
Run all of the stuff down in the Appomattox area. So cool. good connect there for LHF.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Scandalous. How did you come up with the idea? When did you come up with the idea? Were you just like laying in bed one night and be like, hookers?
I mean, kind of. You know, every historian and writer has to have a niche, and I just settled on prostitution. That's the
fantastic.
Niche. You know, I mean, sometimes you just have to make a decision. And that was the decision that I made. So I had caught wind that there had been this massive red light, and we'll go back to that term red light. We need to circle back to that in a bit. Remind me. But I had heard that there was a massive red light district in the city of Lynchburg, and I'd kind of heard a couple of kind of quirky stories through the grapevine, and I decided to do a little bit of digging, and I found myself obsessed within 24. And that's just who I am. I'm like a researcher at heart. And when I have something I want to know more about, I'm like a dog with a bone. You can't get me off of it. I'll lose sleep. I won't eat. It's a whole thing. And that's kind of what I was doing with these hookers. And I just found
not sleeping because of the hookers.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of people didn't sleep because of the hookers, and I was just the most recent. So, yeah, I became absolutely obsessed, and I started doing more research and really figured out that there was the scope of this thing, the size of the red light district, the amount of people involved, the amount of scandal, the amount of stories, the richness of the history. I mean, it was bigger than I ever would have guessed. And so I quickly discovered that I could make I think you could make an entire career of it, honestly, if you really wanted to hone in. But
being a hooker or researching the hookers?
Both, I guess. I mean, you know, some say the district is still alive and well in the Hill City. I'm going to refrain from commenting on that. But
as an ex-cab driver, I will tell you, it is definitely live, baby.
Yeah. We is not live, but they are live.
Yeah, they certainly, there's still some activity out there. I think it's pretty different now than it was in the Victorian period. But
well, yeah, because we have technology, OnlyFans and stuff like that. What's up, Robbie Anderson?
Back in my cab driving days, I kid you not, when I was a cab driver, it was a lot like it probably used to be. They would literally walk up and down the street, and like you could spot them a mile away.
Listen, a girl's got to eat, you know.
And it wasn't Fifth Street. I don't know why Fifth Street, like maybe back before my time of being out in the Hill City, but it wasn't Fifth Street that was hot.
I think every city kind of adopts like a tract, and that's just the known area where hookers are. So like I'm from the Phoenix, Arizona area, and like out there, if you do your research, it was known as Van Buren Avenue. It was known as the Van Buren Strip, the Strip, whatever. If you wanted a hooker, you were going to Van Buren Avenue. Like that was it. And I think it kind of adopted here as just Fifth Street. And I'm sure Ashleigh's going to inform us, but we're going to circle back to Red Light District. Why is it called the red light district?
So in Lynchburg, in Lynchburg, that's actually kind of a misnomer. So the term red light district would not have been used to describe Lynchburg's prostitution ring or the area that this was taking place, because the term red light actually comes from the prostitution that was taking place out west, like during the California Gold Rush, so much later in American history. And that came from the guys would get off the trains and they would put a red lantern in the window of the brothel that they were patronizing that evening, so that if there was some kind of emergency or the train conductor was looking for them, they could easily be found by the red lantern in the window. So, yeah. So
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, fun fact. So there were no red lanterns involved in the city of Lynchburg. That was just not the way the business was conducted here. So we didn't actually technically have a red light district. We had something better. We had Buzzard's Roost. But yeah. So the term red light for us is kind of not quite accurate, but that's what we all call it.
So what is the difference between a red light district and, say, Buzzard's Roost? And are we the only ones that have a Buzzard's Roost?
So as far as I know, Buzzard's Roost is a term unique to Lynchburg. I've never come across that term used to describe any other red light district or like neighborhood of ill fame or whatever moniker you choose to describe it as. But Buzzard's Roost in Lynchburg was, from what I understand, and there's not a lot of information out there on this, but my understanding is that this part of town, which was down by the riverfront, tended to be kind of dirty and had a bunch of buzzards sitting on top of the buildings and in the windowsills and kind of all over the place. And so it eventually took up the name Buzzard's Roost. And I think that was also kind of intended to be an insult to these women. But I can tell you, based on my research, these women didn't really give a shit. So and more power to them, But to my knowledge,
gotta eat.
Girls gotta eat. Exactly.
Baby needs some new shoes.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you. All right. So Buzzard's Roost here in Lynchburg. So birds, dirty, everything that you would typically think of when you think of prostitution, right, was going on right here downtown Lynchburg, which was what we know today. Obviously, the street names were not the same. What area?
Okay. So you would be, if you were to stand on 9th Street, say right in front of Amazement Square, you would be in the heart of the district in the 1860s. If you were to walk down present day Commerce, Jefferson, that was the core red light district, particularly between 12th and 9th, but there was a lot of activity on that 9th Street side. Now, there were houses all over town, and after the Civil War and at the turn of the 19th century, turn of the 20th century, the prostitutes were quote unquote kicked out of the downtown area, and that they thought that was going to get rid of them, but it didn't. They just moved up to 4th Street. So the whole district and all of the women who lived down there basically just picked up shop and relocated to 4th and Monroe, that area of town, Taylor. And that became the new district, which was known as Thrill Hollow. So
Thrill Hollow.
But the Buzzard's Roost was Jefferson, Commerce, and right down there on the riverfront. There even was an island known as Sandy Hook, which is where the train depot was and things. And that was in the river. And that was also very hot for prostitution and gambling and drinking and all those fun things.
So wait, an island? You mean the hookers swam across out to this island and conducted their business?
Well, I think there was a bridge, but
okay, I was like, wait a minute.
But there is a great story.
You got Caribbean Lynchburg style.
Hookers do not swim; they float.
Hey,
that's right. I think with all the layers in the Victorian dress, I think they would sink more than likely. But but there is a great story about some prostitutes who went for an unplanned swim. If you want to hear that one.
Absolutely. By all
Okay.
means.
So now that you mentioned swimming, so in right around the time of the Civil War, there was an effort to clean up the downtown riverfront area, and mostly that was because like generals in the military didn't want their soldiers patronizing these houses and getting STDs and becoming known for salacious activity and misbehaving and things like that. They were trying to keep the troops in line. So there was an effort to close down the district. And this guy named Sergeant Buell put out an order. And I'm going to pull the order up for you so that I can read it, because it's worth hearing. It's pretty good. He says, and this was published in the paper. He said, for the better preservation of the public peace and for the purpose of preventing any disorderly conduct on the part of enlisted men, all houses of ill fame in the 3 disreputable localities known as Buzzard's Roost, Tin Shingles, and Curls Row will be vacated by the present occupants. And then you'll have 10 days to leave the premises. And if you're found still occupying the premises, officers will at once remove you, lock up your houses, and hold the keys, subject to the call of the owner of the property, and keys will not be delivered except upon satisfactory assurances of the owner that the premises shall be painted or whitewashed and not rented or used except for lawful and reputable purposes. So this was a decree. Yeah. So this was
an 1800s eviction notice.
Exactly. By a soldier from the North. Imagine how well that went over, you know? This was a Yankee marching up into Lynchburg, messing things up. And let me tell you, the police officers and the lawmen in the city at the time were just as good of patrons of these ladies as all the other guys in town. So enforcement of this law was not going to go over well. But as the story goes, there was one house, particularly in the Sandy Hook on this island in the James, that refused to vacate. And when the troops got word that this house was refusing to comply with the order, they sent about 10 guys from the nearby neighborhood to physically push the house off of its foundation and into the James River with the occupants inside of it. Yeah.
Okay. Adventures with Beth. What's up, darling?
Hey.
And it looks like your sister's in here, and she says, "Go, sister, go."
My sister? Oh, hi, Alice. Well, that's nice.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm picturing this in my head. So I'm ordering 10 men to go push a structure off of its foundation and into the James River.
I wish I could have seen this.
Was this successful?
Absolutely. Yeah. They dumped the whole house into the river with its occupants inside. Like 5 women went swimming out the windows of the house into the river. And the newspaper published it the next day because that's what newspapers did in the 1860s. They knew how to spin a story at that time. And the newspaper said what? Yeah, that's true. Newspapers said they went down beautifully and the fun was glorious. None of the women were worse for the washing. And scrambling out of the water, they made tracks at a double quick from a locality which they found too hot to hold them, amid the jeers of those who had introduced them to an involuntary but much needed bath.
Wow.
Good God.
Isn't that great?
Dirty hookers need to get in the river. And the James, of all places, which is known as like the dirtiest river.
It wasn't clean at this time.
I don't know. The James, though, I heard used to not be this as dirty as it was. I heard it was actually pretty clear at one point.
Yeah. Well, the James River, right now, the James River is actually very clean in terms of water quality, but it wasn't in the 70s. They did this massive project to restore it. But historically, it was pretty disgusting.
So did these 5 hookers survive?
Everybody was fine. Yeah, they were pissed, but they were fine.
Yeah, I think I would be pissed too.
Yeah, I mean, all their stuff was in their house, you know, like.
I'm sleeping. I just worked all night, did 5 men, whatever. And then boom, I get put my whole house into the river. Not even me, the whole house.
The whole damn house. Yeah. I mean,
it might be Beth.
But they got that much needed bath.
They got it.
Their much needed bath.
I think that's why they were so mad.
With Lost Souls.
Emily, lemon pound cake.
Lords. Yeah, so wow, that is interesting. So I'm assuming that they relocated into the now newly formed Buzzard's Roost.
Yeah, the
What's
order
up,
didn't
John?
last very
Hey,
long.
John.
And that one didn't last long, the new one?
The order didn't last very long, but as soon as they could, the women were all back in their houses and back into business, and the soldiers were some of their best customers. So the attempt at disbanding the red light district was a pretty huge failure.
Well, and then you had a whole entire division during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Called, go ahead, Sean.
What?
Hooker's division.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hooker's division, because he literally.
I thought you were talking about division like amongst people. I'm like,
no,
yeah,
like so he literally found out that if his men partook in such activities, that the morale of his troops would raise.
Yeah.
So he encouraged his troops to find a hooker wherever they were at, and he would bring hookers to the encampment.
See, this is why we don't like.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. This is why we don't like Yankees here in the South, because
now come on.
Ashley, we talk about this all the time. I don't know why we get along, Ashley. I don't know why we get along. See, the Yankees want to kill all the fun, and we want to have all the fun.
You did have a leg up in that department. I'll give it to you.
A leg up.
Yeah, where's the drum?
A leg up.
Lord have mercy. Oh my God. So yeah.
Just for the record, Ashley and I get along just fine.
Ashley and Sean get to going about history, and that's all she wrote. You might as well.
Despite my Yankee blood.
Yeah, you might as well clear her calendar for the day. Which, by the way, I love the colorful calendar. I ran into lovely Miss Tori today and saw the wall. And
Great,
was like,
yeah.
oh, lots of color.
Stick all your stuff on there for me so I know what's going on and where we are when.
I got it. But so fast forwarding to them coming back into their now previously vacated homes. They now went back to Buzzard's Roost. At this point, had it cleaned up, or was it still nasty? Like, what was the significance of this time era now?
Post-Civil War, things were slowing down a little bit for the industry, just because there were new laws in place. The law was kind of cracking down on these ladies, but it was still very active. I mean, Lynchburg had a known, reputable red light district well into the 1960s, but in the immediate post-Civil War era, it was probably, right during the Civil War, maybe right before, was probably the height of the red light district in Lynchburg. So it was very active, and you have to, like, when we say dirty and disgusting, considering the time, 9th Street wasn't a paved road. It was a muddy, wagon rutted, everything is kind of wet and muddy and dirty and
wet.
Yeah. Well, especially down on the riverfront. Right. And
we're getting there, Jason. We are getting there.
And the riverfront wasn't just brothels. It was also gambling halls and taverns and hotels. It was where everybody who was coming on packet boats into town for work or travel or whatever, that's where they were getting off. That was the first thing they were seeing in town when they arrived. And that was generally where they found accommodations, whether they were looking for a hooker or not. And so that's where the bulk of this commerce was happening. And then you would climb up the hills toward Main Street and beyond, and things would get a little cleaner, a little more high society. But the bulk of activity in the city of Lynchburg really was occurring down on the riverfront. And it was a huge industry for the city. It really drove important economic progress, even though nobody wanted to admit it. And what's really interesting is that these women, they're all super unique and really interesting in their own right, and they all have really incredible stories. But it was really common for prostitutes to make large financial contributions to things like Civil War hospitals, schools, things like that. And they generally did it anonymously because they knew that they would get a bunch of criticism from the community if it came out that it was them. And so they rarely got any credit for it, but they were actually really important to those sort of essential community needs that existed all throughout the Victorian era.
Sure. Now, most notably, there was one infamous hooker, I guess, by the name of...
I'm guessing you're talking about Lizzie.
Absolutely. I love me some Lizzie Langley.
Lizzie Langley, absolutely. Yeah, when anyone thinks of Buzzard's Roost or prostitution in the Hill City, if they don't think of Lizzie Langley, they don't know what they're talking about.
Tell us a little bit about Lizzie, her story, and how she became so infamously known in Buzzard's Roost.
So Lizzie was operational in the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s. She was, really importantly, she grew up in a brothel. Her mother, Agnes Langley, was a prostitute before her. And Agnes was impressive in her own right. Agnes, I think, doesn't get enough credit because Lizzie is just such an incredible figure that Agnes kind of gets brushed to the sidelines. But Agnes herself was a really impressive figure. Agnes was born enslaved. And we don't know how she acquired her freedom. We don't know what happened there, if she purchased her freedom, if she was released, if she escaped. We have no idea. We do know that she was born enslaved. Somehow she ended up living free in the city of Lynchburg and operating her own very successful brothel. At some point she had Lizzie. We don't know who Lizzie's dad is. I'm sure Agnes didn't either, considering, the profession. I think that's an occupational hazard. But but Lizzie grew up in a brothel. But Lizzie's life was not, at least what we know of Lizzie's life, she didn't want for anything. Her mother was very wealthy by anybody's standards. She ran a very high-class establishment. She was able to provide for her daughter the way that any parent would want to provide for their daughter or their children. And when Agnes died, Lizzie inherited a massive estate. And Lizzie was able to take that estate and grow it substantially. So Lizzie Langley ended up creating her own empire. She owned numerous houses on Commerce and Jefferson and ran them all to a very high level of standard. So she would have the kind of the nicer houses, the nicer brothels in town. You could go into the front door and you would find maybe a bar and a kitchen downstairs. You could order a meal, you could order a drink. Maybe there's a piano or a band playing. And then there are some rooms on the lower level floors. For Lizzie, those rooms were still really well appointed. They were a little more affordable. And then the higher up you would go in the house, the nicer the accommodations became. And she was known to run a very clean, very high-class establishment across all of her houses. When Lizzie Langley died, she had amassed such a big fortune that she was able to pay for her own estate, paid for a casket made of bronze for her to be buried in. It also paid for a massive, beautiful monolith for her grave. It paid for an iron enclosure. And really special, I think, is it also paid to have her mother, Agnes, exhumed from where she had been buried in a potter's field and relocated to be buried next to Lizzie. So, and I think what's also really important about this story, Lizzie was a Black woman in pre-emancipation Lynchburg, Virginia. Lynchburg was one of the largest slave-owning cities in the South. And Lizzie was so wealthy, so well-known, and so respected that she was able to march into a courthouse, we know at least twice in her life, once to be declared mulatto. And what that meant for her at the time was that she had access to privileges that people who were declared Black or Negro would not have had access to. So we don't know that her skin color was lighter than anybody else's, but for whatever reason, Lizzie was respected enough that the courthouse said, sure, we'll list you as mulatto in our records. That was the first time we know she walked into the courthouse. Second time, I think, is even cooler. The second time, we know that she walked in and hired a white lawyer to get a prenup when she got married so that when she died,
Her
entire estate, her entire estate would not go to her husband. And this fortune that she
Come
had.
on now, Lizzie.
What exactly? And she got that prenup, no problem, no questions asked. It's well documented. So Lizzie is a absolute legend, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give a round of applause to Lizzie
Cheers
Langley.
to Lizzie.
Lizzie Langley was about her business.
She
right?
was. All
And
work all
yes,
the time.
Beth, my hero.
Yeah, me too.
She ran that shit.
Hey, I'll tell you what, going in the Old City Cemetery and seeing her monument, it's something.
Yes, Brittany, she was the definition of a girl boss.
Hey, Brittany.
You could literally walk into that cemetery and it just pops out at you.
Right.
If y'all haven't been to see it, it's a must see.
Now, speaking of Old City Cemetery, there is, yes, Anthony, cheers. Lizzie. I think autocorrect got you and put Lindsay, but that's okay.
That's okay.
What's up, Anthony?
What's up, Anthony? Shout out to Anthony. He's another one of our tour guides here at Hill City Tours. So again, we're going to be doing the Meet the Tour Guide series here very shortly in the next probably 24 hours or so. But the most notable grave that everybody talks about at Old City Cemetery is the grave with the bed on it. Who's buried there?
So the only bed that I know of at OCC was Lizzie Langley. And that was years ago. They took it down, and I don't know why. I wish they would put it back. But they used to keep a black, like 4-poster bed draped in like black mourning linens over Lizzie's grave. And it was really cool. Yeah. I guess they took it down because of vandalism. I'm not sure. It was gone by the time that I started working there back when that was where I was, but I would love to see them bring it back. I'm betting that anytime anyone mentions the bed, it's got to be Lizzie. I can't think of any others.
It used to be beautiful.
Yeah.
You ever seen it?
Yeah. So the local
you used to put pennies on.
Right.
It.
I was going to say the local lore around it is you had to pay your respects, literally pay your respects to her grave. But I wanted you to clarify that mainly because I have gotten into so many arguments with people where they're like, I was just there. I was just at the bed. No, I'm hearing opposite. I was just at the bed. What are you talking about? I said, the bed hasn't been there in years, y'all.
Yeah, no. I mean, the whole time I worked there, sometimes there is a bed frame at OCC that they maintain as a display to talk about African burial customs. And sometimes the frame is up and sometimes it's not. I don't know what the reason for that is.
Seen that.
Yeah, it's usually, I think most of the time that I was there, it was in a shed. And again, because it would, people would walk off with it. But sometimes over by the station house, they would use that as a display for African burial customs.
Now
they need to put it back up. I guarantee it's politics.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, or I'm sure people will be nasty. But not far from OCC, and I don't even know if you know about this, we stumbled upon a story of a brothel house that was about a block from OCC that actually had an infamous double homicide there. Yeah. And do you know enough about that to talk about it, or?
I can't remember their names. I know that it's actually, fun fact, I'm rewriting Scandalous, not rewriting it, but adding a couple more stories that we didn't get to include last time. And that's one of them. I think that happened a little later in the history. Obviously it did, because that was when District was up on the 4th Street area. To my knowledge, that story involved a madam murdering one of her girls, one of her employees. And at this point in history too, the industry of prostitution was starting to look a lot more like what we think of now. Nowadays, we think of prostitution as being a very dangerous, frankly, male-dominated industry where women are kind of exploited. They're put on a lot of drugs. That's tends to be what modern prostitution looks like. Of course, not in all cases, but that I think that's the general opinion of prostitution today. And in the 18th and 19th century, that wasn't the case. It was very much a female-dominated industry. There was no such thing as a pimp. You know, you're not paying half your salary to somebody who's handling you, generally speaking. But by the time that double murder occurred, things were starting to look a lot more like that. And I believe there was a financial dispute. And I could be wrong here because I haven't done my research on this one in a while because it didn't make it into my original show. But I believe there was a financial dispute, and the madam of the house ended up murdering one of her girls. So we can come back to this. We'll talk about this on the next episode. Let me do some research.
We can, but to kind of clarify, so this was actually in the 1950s, guys, and it was in the 4th Street district. And basically it was one of the prostitutes murdered her madam, and then her madam's right-hand woman.
That's what it was.
Is what it was. Her name was Buckwalter. Lithia Brown Buckwalter was her name. And
name and a half.
Yep, she murdered Tina Thompson and Mammy Chittum Feimster. Yeah, that's right. Feimster. I remember that name. Reading like literally like an old timey article, and it's so little. So
that's
Feimster.
exactly
And
what
it was
it is.
a 4th Street house in which the 3 had been raided. It was a part of the Bawdy House, BAWDY, for those of you that are wondering. And Lithia testified under questioning that she worked in the house and said, in effect, she was a prostitute. She told the all-male jury, this was very prominent, all-male jury, that she took the lives of the 2 women because I was afraid they were going to do something bad to me because they found out I had been to the law. So she told the jury that on the day of the shooting, she had talked with the FBI about what she said was narcotics peddling that was happening in the house. And the Buckwalter woman's story told of a series of beatings at the hands and feet of the 2 women and their friends. She said she was forced to use narcotics, that her personal belongings were kept from her, that she was followed constantly, and that she was cheated on the divination of her hard-earned money. So she had been beaten one too many times. She was sick of that life. And one of her clientele, actually, one of the Johns, as we may know it today, gave her a pistol during their recent meeting. And again, she had just had enough, and she kept that pistol. She sat on it for like a week or 2. She tried to enlist the help of, law enforcement. Hey, this is what's going on in the house. They kind of didn't believe her because, again, she's a prostitute. Like, her word, they're taking everything she's saying with a grain of salt. And so she took it upon herself for her own makeshift justice and shot the madam. Well, when that happened, here comes madam's right-hand woman barreling up the stairs. What have you done? Oh my God, getting ready, raising her fist, and boom, shot her too. So she stood trial for this. And that house is still standing and is currently a private residence. And I highly doubt that those who rent the property know what happened there in the 50s. But it is said, and local lore says, that the blood stains are still on the actual hardwood. Now, it's my understanding that those have been like covered up with tile or something. But if you were to rip them up, you would see the blood stains of the madam and her right-hand woman still ingrained in the wood flooring underneath. A lot of that took place, guys. There was a lot of deception, greed, murders, things like that happened down there, especially amongst men. Men would have a specific prostitute that, they would go to over and over and over again. And if they caught their buddy going to see her, now all of a sudden there's an altercation, even though she was a working girl and this was a business relationship by her standards. Men were catching feelings quite often back then, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very common story, actually. And the red light district, or Buzzard's Roost, was known as a hotbed for crime and criminal activity, and particularly assault. And when we say assault, there's not a lot of report. The newspapers they really enjoyed covering the chaos down there in Buzzard's Roost. Yeah. And there's rarely reports of male on female or female on female violence. It's almost entirely, not always, but almost entirely male on male violence as a result of somebody getting upset because somebody was sleeping with somebody else's hooker, which that whole statement in itself is a little ridiculous, but it happened all the time. In fact,
that's my hooker, damn it.
I mean, I don't know what you put a ring on it. You know what I mean? She don't want to be a hooker anyway, most likely. But there was if you have time for another story, Lynchburg's.
Yeah, we've got about 15 minutes, so please share.
Okay, yeah, Lynchburg's first hanging was a direct result of that exact kind of conflict. So there was a guy who showed up on a boat, as most men did. Came down to the city on a packet boat, hopped out of his packet boat, went right up to one of the taverns, immediately started talking with some of the girls. And, he knew where he was and he knew what he was getting into. And I'm sure he was hunting for companionship that evening. And, what do you want after a long day, right? I mean, people then aren't that different from people now.
Just
And this guy's name was George Hamilton. He'd shown up on a packet boat from out of town. And there was another man named John Jones. Well, John Jones was a regular, and he had caught some feelings for one of Miss Rouse, the madam's ladies. And he happened to see Miss Rouse's lady. We don't know the name of the prostitute that was involved. We just know that she was employed by the Madam Miss Rouse. He happened to see her talking to George Hamilton, and he kind of let it go. But then he saw George Hamilton strike this woman across the face. He didn't have any patience for that. And we got to give him credit for that. I appreciate a man who will stand up for that shit, because that's a no. He saw that happen and he went after George Hamilton. Just wasn't going to take it. Went after him, punched him across the face, threw him down on the floor. A brawl ensued in the tavern. And at one point, somebody got in the middle of him and convinced him to cool off, go your separate ways. She's okay. Everybody's okay. Go home. Everybody's drunk. You got to cool it. So they walked off, but Hamilton went back to his boat and he was still furious. And so was John. And John said it was over. He wasn't going to do anything, but it was found out later that he had actually left that tavern and marched right to a gun store, purchased a pistol, and immediately took that pistol right to George Hamilton's boat, called him out of the cabin where he was resting, and shot him through the chest. Just clean shot him through the chest. Knocked him back into the river, dead as can be. So John Jones was tried for murder and sentenced to hanging for that crime. But what's even more interesting, now the gallows, the original gallows, used to be on the site of present-day Old City Cemetery, up near their big pecan tree. It wasn't a noose on a tree. It was an actual gallows, but it was in that area. And a hanging at the time, I mean, that's a good time for everybody.
It was a public spectacle.
Absolutely. You bring your kids, you bring a lunch, get a good seat and enjoy the
Day
show.
in the park.
Absolutely. They can't binge watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer like I do when I'm bored, so they've got to with entertainment elsewhere. But
what do you want to do on Saturday, babe? Hey, I heard there was a public execution taking place.
Absolutely.
Date
night for sure. So there was like 1,000 people gathered at this execution. And this was Lynchburg's very first one. So this was like extra fun and special, I guess. And they got John Jones up on this, my goodness, gallows.
Yeah.
And put the noose around his neck, and they pulled the platform out from under his feet, and they're expecting him to kind of dangle and kick around for a minute and then be dead, right? But unfortunately, the rope snapped. And John just fell to the ground, and he was fine. So they gave him a glass of water, which is strange, but I guess
I always thought that was strange when I heard this story. Like, that is so jacked up. Like, you're getting ready to kill this guy.
What are you trying to? Yeah, what do you want to hydrate him? I mean, that's nice, but
Ronnie said they need to bring back public hanging.
I agree.
Honestly, pedophiles.
It might be less crime.
So anyway, they gave him a glass of water. They tried it again. They had to go find another rope. They had people like walking home trying to find a rope they could use to hang this guy with. I mean, it was an absolute ridiculous scene, very Lynchburg coded.
Unorganized,
yeah. And they hung him again. The second time it worked out. Yeah, sudden empathy is exactly what it is. And then I guess they forgot it when they went back to hanging him. I don't know. I don't think he should have been hung personally. He was just defending his lady, but I wasn't there. But the second time they hung him, it was a success, and he did die and was buried in the potter's field there at the cemetery. But
now they left him hanging there though for like 3 days.
Yeah, they left him for a hot minute. I guess it was supposed to be a deterrent, but everybody was so traumatized by how poorly it had gone that they didn't do another public hanging in Lynchburg for like 40 years. Everybody was just like, you know what? Let's not.
So, this was a horrible idea. Who came up with this? Like, no.
It was.
Now they moved the gallows to present day Court Street parking garage, guys, like right behind the Lynchburg Museum area.
Parking garage.
Obviously pre-parking garage. We didn't just throw gallows on the top.
Sure, why not?
I mean, sounds like a good time too, and plenty of parking. Plenty of parking
for
and
the audience.
Guys, it's pay to park before 5 p.m. So you could have capitalized on this. Lynchburg, I don't know what happened here. We failed. But
call council.
Mayor, let's bring it back.
Pre-parking garage, guys, that's where they moved the gallows to. And at that point, the second public execution would actually end up being the second and the third. So now you've got a double public execution. So we're going to try it again 40 years later. We're going to come back swinging. All right. And we're going to hang not one, but two, because we got to do it right this time.
It was a pride issue at this point.
Yeah. So, and again, two guys, I believe this one was over a gambling debt or something to that effect.
Probably a gambling debt that they racked up at Lizzie Langley's house, if I could guess.
Probably. So, backing it on up, though, when did prostitution actually... Now, I say this very, very loosely, guys, because prostitution has never ended in Lynchburg, right? But when did the end of Buzzard's Roost and the quote-unquote red light district come to a halt?
So the end of Buzzard's Roost was the turn of the century. So 1890s, 1900. That's when they made that effort to clean up the riverfront. But like I said, that didn't really work out because all those ladies did was they packed up their stuff and they moved up to 4th Street and they went right back into business like nothing ever happened. So the community got their downtown back and they were able to, that's when we started seeing the Industrial Revolution come in and we get all these factories and all this industry down there. But they certainly didn't succeed in eliminating the prostitution trade in the city of Lynchburg. When they moved up to 4th Street, there was a thriving industry well into the 60s. And in fact, what we kind of consider to be the final madam of Lynchburg is a woman named Tootsie Clay. And I want to say that she was officially driven out of Lynchburg. She's got a funny story too. She was officially driven out of Lynchburg, I want to say in 1964. And she's considered the last madam. Now, that's not to say that there was no prostitution in the city, but it went underground big time after that. Tootsie Clay, just to make the story quick, Tootsie had been charged with keeping a house of ill fame or a bawdy house or a house of prostitution like 1,000 times. This woman had become elderly at this point. She was like in her 70s. Absolutely. Still killing it. Still running, I think, multiple houses at this point. And she was on probation when she got into a whole bunch of trouble for tax evasion. And she was arrested for tax evasion, charged with the crime, found guilty, the whole nine.
So it's okay if we're selling our asses, guys. We just got to pay taxes.
Pay your taxes. You know, this is the lesson we've all learned. Yeah. But Tootsie was, she was facing serious jail time, many years in jail, but she was old. And the community of Lynchburg rallied behind Tootsie and convinced the jury to not throw her in jail, but instead to just kick her out of town. So I kid you not, the city of Lynchburg threw this aged prostitute into the back of a taxi and sent her to Miami, where she lived out the rest of her life sipping cocktails on a beach somewhere, just, you know, living the dream after almost getting thrown in jail for tax evasion and prostitution.
And of course, she took her fortune with her that she
another
had
legend.
not paid taxes on.
Yeah, another absolute legend, Tootsie Clay. She had
literally another girl boss, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is wild to me. So today, fast forwarding to 2026, guys, prostitution is still a thing. We're all adults here. We all know it's still a thing. It's just more so underground or off the record, so
super
to speak.
illegal now.
When I first moved here to the region in the early 2000s, there were still very much so underground brothel style places. A lot
There's
of
still
them,
brothels around.
A lot of them were owned by a prominent figure that we know here as the Falwells, guys. So we've talked about it. Again, you know, they don't, absolutely not. That's not them, but we're not dumb. So it's still a thing. And like Sean said, they're still here. We just don't know where they're at.
I can tell you.
Well, Sean, apparently Sean frequents the brothels around here, guys. We don't know. Bring back public executions.
Listen, y'all. Listen, I'm a Lynchburg native. This is why our tour company is going to be so great. It's going to be wonderful. All right. Because I'm a Lynchburg native. All the dirt that went on in this city, I was a cab driver for 7 years. All right. When I lost my way as a young man, driving the cab was a quick way for me to find it. And I made great money as a cab driver. Great money. A lot of people look down on cab driving, but before I got to where I'm at now, it was great money. But I got to see the dirtiest side of the city, and I made some great connections in this city. And
with the hookers?
With the hookers, actually. The hookers in this town, and it's funny how y'all talk about.
Sean's about to tell a really good story.
I'm going to tell you a really good story. Ashley, I'm glad you're here because we talk about how Lizzie Langley was a boss, right? And how she did all this cool stuff and how she ran her houses. When I was a cab driver, the hookers in my cab business, people think of prostitution and hookers like what you see on TV, the girls walking the streets, blah, 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 blah. When I was a cab driver, I would literally have these girls call me on my cell phone and say, hey, I need you to take me out to the rich neighborhoods in town. I'm about to exploit the prostitution in this town.
Exploiting is wild.
They used to tell me to take them to the rich neighborhoods in the town. I'm talking Forest. I'm talking Timberlake. I'm driving to these big $1 million homes, and I'm seeing contract workers, lawyers,
judges,
the people in this town with the high society, and these hookers would literally pay me to just sit there and they'd be doing their business. Now, that was illegal, of course, but 22-year-old Sean.
Well, it's not illegal. They're literally paying you for your service. They needed a ride.
As far as I know, I'm just doing my job. I told them I don't want to know what you're doing.
Crime.
I am her taxi driver. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, now, all my life, I thought hookers were these nasty girls walking on the street. No, they're getting paid good money. And to me, I don't look down on anybody how they make their money, how they make their hustle. So for the last minute or two of this, Ashley, First of all, I want to thank you for joining us. Hopefully, this won't be our last podcast chat.
We're definitely going to need a part 2.
We need
hookers.
Part 3 or 4.
We could go on for a while.
but rewinding back in the time, and a lot of people are probably mad that I told this story. I don't care. Y'all know what y'all was doing out in the forest.
Yeah, dirty.
Y'all dirty dogs.
What did they call it? Skeezers.
Hey, but anyway, is there any paranormal claims? Because this is the ghost show. So are there any paranormal claims? I know that working with you, and I don't know how much you want to talk about it or can because of the position you're in as well professionally, but you worked in some pretty historic places. I met you in a very historic place. Never thought we'd be working alongside each other.
But I'm glad we are.
But I'm glad we are. It's been a great ride so far. But what are there any paranormal claims with these hookers? Because I'll tell you, I have taken some equipment to Lizzie Langley's site before and had some interesting things happen. I'm not going to tell my side yet, but have you had any experience dealing with these hookers?
The haunted hookers.
The haunted hookers.
Are there any paranormal claims you've heard?
I've had a lot of paranormal experience in my life, but not a lot associated with Lynchburg's red light district. Although I will say one of the local sort of legends or ghost stories that I became familiar with early on in my career, before I even really knew the story about the first hanging or about the red light district, was the sort of specter of Old City Cemetery. And I was always told that there was a haunted parking garage. We're
going to talk about that in just 1 second, Beth.
I was always told that neighborhood kids were told to stay out of Old City Cemetery because of the ghost of John Jones, and that he was this sort of green pillar-like entity. He was the victim of the first hanging that we talked about before. And that's what I was always. Sorry?
Are you serious right now? Green?
Yeah, green. He was.
You notice we just stopped and looked at each other, didn't you?
Keep going.
He was known to be, and I never saw this personally. I saw other things that weren't related to my knowledge in any way to like prostitution, but I never saw this, but I heard this story numerous times, and my understanding was it was this sort of kind of luminous, sort of green, almost translucent kind of light that was pillar shaped, and that would sort of dissipate slowly in the area of the gallows at OCC. And I was told that it was used by neighborhood parents to keep their kids out of the cemetery, but that there was also some truth to the claim. And of course, they would say that it was John Jones, the victim of that first hanging, because of the prostitution scandal that he was caught up in. So that's my only knowledge of a ghost story related to it. But I would bet that there are some hookers lingering in the Hill City, and if they're out there, I would love to talk to them. So let's find them. Maybe in the parking lot.
All hookers that are watching the On the Other Side podcast.
Dead ones.
Hit up Ashleigh Meyer at the Historical Foundation.
I'm looking for dead ones. I mean, listen, I'll talk to anybody, but I'm looking for dead ones.
But check this out. This is a funny story. So, like Sean said, as we stopped and stared at each other when you spoke about this green luminescent figure.
And you haven't even heard the story, so you know we're telling the truth.
We've never told this story except for to the look. I gotta take my glasses off for this because I'm stressed out right now.
I feel really stupid right now.
Really do.
We were hosting. Now I'm intrigued.
All right, so we were hosting. For those, everybody in here pretty much knows, we were hosting public paranormal investigations at OCC for about 1.5 years, guys. We donated a lot of money to OCC. We helped them out a lot, trying to work with their preservation efforts, etc. This particular night, it was one of our witching hour events, and we had these 2 ladies that were on our tour. They were together, and we were over in the chapel area and the swing area at the time. Okay. So they come running up to me, and I'm setting the stage so you could see this. So this was when Rhonda was on our team, And so what she would do is she would lock the gates, and then if anybody wanted to leave, she would just ride around on the golf cart, go and lock the gate for them. So these two ladies come barreling up to me in an absolute frantic mess. And they were like, we've got to go right now. Like, I don't even have time for you to open the gate. And I was like, you have to let us open the gate. Like, you have to go through it. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. What's going on? And she said, we've got to get out of here because we saw a green goblin in the bushes, was her exact words. And I said, what? From this standpoint, right? I'm thinking that they've lost it. And if you're watching, please forgive me. I'm an honest, brutal person, okay?
I'm going to give you a formal apology.
But we now officially owe you an apology because they described this goblin as being green, luminescent. You could see through it. It was lingering in the bushes. And it scared the bejesus out of them, and they had to go right then and there.
Yeah, that would have scared the bejesus out of me.
3-hour investigation, guys. This was 1 hour in. And they were out there. I called Rhonda on the radio and I said, Rhonda, can you open the gate for these ladies? She said, I'm, kind of indisposed at the moment. She was using the restroom. And I said, and these ladies said, I don't care. Get to the gate. I got to go. So what's up, John Sullivan with FPRI?
What's up, Sully?
So now I feel really dumb because I never
were telling you the truth.
This figure.
Ladies, I apologize. I did not. I would say
you never told me that story. Yeah, that's a fairly, at least I think it was really a big story in like the 90s when the cemetery was, the 80s and 90s when the cemetery was kind of abandoned and kind of a mess. That was, I think, when parents were really telling their kids this, but I had always heard that there was some truth to it. I never saw it, but it sounds like it's still out there.
These were young ladies, so
yeah, they were younger ladies, and that was their very first ghost tour, and I'm 90% sure that they're not going to go on anymore after that, unfortunately. But aside from like the paranormal claims of the green goblin in the bushes, we had so many claims up in the area of like Lizzie Langley's burial place, of a woman in a white gown, a woman. Like, I had somebody leave my whole tour and start running like a bat out of hell down the hill. And I'm over here going, wait a minute, hold on. We got to stay like together. So I left Naya in the chapel. This person exited the chapel and starts barreling down the hill and like yelling, hey. I'm barreling after this guy going, you can't run through the cemetery at night. Like, this is not safe. Like, come back. So when I finally catch up to him, I'm out of breath. He is visibly distraught. And he's got his flashlight and he's just scanning everywhere. And he's like, you didn't see that woman that was outside? She was wearing a long gown and she looked lost and upset. And I'm like, I'm looking like, no, I don't see anybody. But we can both sit here and attest that, there was some strange stuff that happened there.
But literally a month later, I saw a woman running through the cemetery in a dress. We were in the chapel, and she was running across the back of the chapel to the point where I ran out of the chapel with my flashlight trying to find her.
Because we thought it was somebody like on our tour that had gone rogue.
Yeah.
OCC was an active place. I definitely had a lot of experiences there.
Yeah, for sure.
But
now,
hopefully there'll be a new cemetery. I can't really talk about it.
She dropped it.
Oh, she did?
Oh, the tour?
Yeah. So we've got some. I was just about to say, as we wrap this up, Lynchburg Historical Foundation, guys, has some really cool things happening. Can you tell us a few things that are coming up and some few things that are in the works?
Yeah.
And where can people find this information?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I mean, huge shout out to Hill City Tours, who have been hit the ground running as a dedicated and enthusiastic partner. Honestly, keeping me motivated too, because I got to tell you, bringing this organization back up from the grave has not always been a pleasant experience. So keeping me motivated and enthusiastic about it has been incredibly helpful. And I'm excited about these tours that we're about to launch in partnership with you guys. And I know you've already promoted that, so I won't go too deep into it. But just to echo that, it's been hugely helpful to the foundation, and I know it's going to continue to be hugely helpful. So thank you for that. But we also have a partnership coming up with the Presbyterian Cemetery. And we've had this partnership for a long time, actually. LHF has worked with them on their ghost tours. I believe they call it the Ghost Tours of Presbyterian. And this year they're doing some really cool things. We're kind of helping them to grow the program a little bit. We'd really like to see them make a good profit. They need some work done. It's a really important cemetery. It's gorgeous. If you've never been there, it's on Grave Street. It is well worth the stop or the drive through. It's absolutely stunning. But they need some preservation work. They're trying to get on the National Registry. They have some things they want to take care of, and they deserve it. So we're really hoping to be able to get them some good profits from this event. It's October 29th through 31st, and they're doing an adults only night on Halloween. So they're going to take the regular show. The regular show is very family friendly. It's very living history, story oriented. They're going to take the regular show. They're going to make it a little bit spookier, maybe a little bit gorier, and they're going to serve drinks, and it's going to be 21 and up. So I think that's a super cool idea. They're doing that. We are
that's also partnering with Hill City After Dark.
Yeah, Hill City After Dark is a partner for that as well. And hopefully we'll be able to do some add-ons with you guys and get some actual investigations going on in there. And then we are working on a big Christmas event for LHF. A fundraiser. We're hoping to do some like Victorian Christmas home tours back in the style of vintage LHF, the way that we used to do things, but with a fun kind of modern spin. We've got a lot of educational programs we're building up and planning. And my background is in education through living history and theater. So I'm excited to bring a bunch of that to the city of Lynchburg. So look out for that. The best way to keep up with us is Facebook right now. Please follow us on Facebook, share it with your friends. And we're rebuilding for a new generation. So the LHF that you're about to see is going to look a lot different than the LHF that you may have known before. And that's okay. We're going to hold on to what worked, and we're going to say see you later to what doesn't. And we're moving on with a new vision and some new energy. So I'm stoked about it.
Awesome. And if anybody has any questions about anything LHF related or anything like that, how can they get in touch with you?
Or if you just want to know more about the hookers, by all means.
Yeah. Or if you want to talk about hookers.
Talk about the hookers. You can find me through messaging the Facebook page. I'll see that. I'm the one who manages the page. But you can also contact me through our email address, which is stupidly long, and I'm sorry, but it's director@lynchburghistoricalfoundation.org. That's the best way to get a hold of me directly. And I believe our phone number is on the website as well. So that's a good way to get a hold of us. But I would recommend email and Facebook Messenger. And I'm always around, and I'm always here for a good story. So
I love that.
Awesome.
Now, guys, don't be fooled. On Facebook, there is currently 2 Lynchburg Historical Foundation pages. One of them is a dead page. The one that is LYH, Historical Foundation, that is the one. You might have seen some invites coming from me recently, coming from Sean, coming from Ashleigh. We're trying to grow the new page. Just like with every change, guys, it brings good positivity and, better things down the pipeline. Unfortunately, Ashleigh was, locked out of the old page, and that's okay. We're trying to build this back up. So let's help her out. Everybody, if you could just take a minute and go to LYH Historical Foundation and just give a follow. All of our events here at Hill City Tours, Hill City After Dark, will be posted there, as well as the upcoming events in the local area. We love to promote. small businesses, local businesses, especially from surrounding areas. So if you need any help with promotion, you want us to go ahead and put it out there, by all means, shoot it our way. And we'll be more than happy to, create that share partnership. It costs $0 to follow a Facebook page, you guys, $0.
And it does so much for a small business.
It does. And of course, like, you get to hang out with cool people like Sean, myself, and Ashleigh.
Absolutely.
So, but I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their Wednesday night to join us. There will be a part 2 about the hookers, because apparently the hookers are more famous than anybody I know.
I'm telling you.
And Beth, I do plan on doing some investigating in that garage that you mentioned. There is some story of things that happened there, that a lot of death happened there. So I might even do some.
What's up, Supernatural Untold Stories Officer Tight Pants?
Shout out Chris Mendez from Jersey in the house. Yeah, Chris, I've been calling you on that radio today too. You ain't answered.
Oh, you guys got to get your bromance going on. Chris, cut your radio on, because we're about to wrap this up.
Chris, will you send another invite to my other radio so Courtney can not feel left out?
I'm not feeling left out.
Courtney really wants to become a part of the radio group.
Ashleigh, these two, Chris is in Jersey, Sean is here. These two have purchased matching radios. And they talk to each other on the radio, like actual two-way radios. And I'm thinking to myself, same concept with picking up the phone.
We have a UFO research group.
It sounds like there's a couple Yankees out there that Sean's pretty cool with. So.
Oh yeah, Sean is cool with this Jersey Yankees.
There's 2 or 3 Yankees that I actually.
I want to retract your former statement there, buddy.
Oh, retract to the back. Take it back.
There's 2 or 3 Yankees. Hey, even in the Civil War, they were trading coffee and tobacco. So.
There's a very famous story out of Richmond.
There were very few Yankees and Confederates that got along.
That's true.
There happens to be a case where I get along with 2 or 3.
Lord have mercy. But if you guys are interested as well, I want to put this plug in there. If you're interested in supporting the Lynchburg Historical Foundation, guys, and donating, or if you have any historical artifacts or properties or anything like that, 10 out of 10. Hit up Ashleigh. We're always looking to help and partner in preservation. And if you need to move that money because it's coming to the end of the year and you don't want to get busted for tax evasion, move it on our way, guys. So we're not going to ask where it came from. We don't care. We just like your moolah.
We'll just stick it in the bank and keep quiet about it. Yeah.
So, again, like I said, this will be a part 2, and this may be the next couple weeks. We might do several haunted history with Ashleigh. That might be a part of an ongoing series that we pick up. But for the meantime, now we are going to wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to add?
I do want to add, Ashleigh.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you so much. Ashleigh is potentially, hopefully, will be coming out with her own podcast soon.
Oh, yes.
That's in the works. So make sure y'all give the LHF Foundation page a follow, and stay tuned for her own content as well. Hopefully, Ashleigh will continue to join us on ours as well. And let's support each other, y'all. Let's support everyone.
Absolutely. And I dropped some name ideas for you.
I saw them. I've written some of them down. I know. I might do a social media poll and try to get some excitement going for it. I'm hoping to drop it in September. We'll see if I get my shit together by then, but that's the hope.
So come up with 3 name ideas, and when we have you on the show next, I'll drop a poll in the podcast, and we'll get some feedback from those in the comments as well to see what they would like to see the name.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Ronnie, Daryl, and Grand Time.
Yeah. But again, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. Sorry for the delay. We are diligently working to launch our tour company. Hopefully, we'll be back on track next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Facebook.
The Book Face.
The Book Face. My name is Courtney.
I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys on the other side.
See you later.